Hey there, and welcome back for our final meal of Irish Day. So we're going to be making two different things for our dinner. One is Irish brown bread, which is what we're going to be doing right now, and then right after we're going to make boxty, which is sort of a cheese potato type thing that looks really good, but I don't know how it will be. So what we need for our bread is 2 cups of flour, a half a cup of natural bran, a fourth of a cup of sugar, about 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour, then 1.5 tablespoons of baking soda, 2 cups of sour milk. So I know that sounds odd. I'm just going to be using normal milk right now because I think that's what I want to do. I don't want to use sour milk, but I guess we'll see if that works out or not. And then about 1/4 of a cup of oil. First things first, you need some loaf pans. I just found these at Acme for, very cheap. Got 3 of them. We'll see how these work out. And then a large bowl. So I'm first going to add the half a cup of bran, natural bran, the 1/4 a cup of sugar, and make sure you break up any clumps if they're in there. And then I'll just start mixing that up since we do need everything to be sort of, mixed up in it. And then there we go, sorry. Now we need about 2 cups of flour. So then we need 1.5 cups of of whole wheat flour. So I'm actually just going to do this with a half cup thing because the full cup is a little bit too big. So now we need a teaspoon and a half of baking soda, not baking powder. There is a difference between the two. So that was my mistake. So I just used a tablespoon of baking soda. So give me 1 second because you actually need 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. So I will get back to you in just 1 second. Okay, so here's a little lesson for you. If you ever mix up tablespoons and teaspoons, like I just did by accident, 1 tablespoon in the US is actually 3 teaspoons. So we just put 3 teaspoons of baking soda in when we only need 1.5. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to try to take a teaspoon and a half out. I'm going to actually put it into here to see. So there's 1 teaspoon, and that's probably another half of a teaspoon. I don't know, I'll put it in here and then I'll add it back later. So I'm glad that you got to watch me do that. That was great. Okay, back to the actual cooking and not just me messing up. So we'll mix everything together. And then once it's all mixed together, what you want to do is you want to sort of push everything to the side and make a well in the middle. Be careful because it is flour, so as you push it, if there's any air pockets, it will just sort of blow up in your face. Just a lot of fun to clean up later on. I always love cleaning up after these meals. It's great. I get to do a lot of dishes. My parents are quite happy because they just sort of dump their dishes in there with mine, and then I get to do all of the dishes. So, that's great. So once you make a well in the middle, you can see that there, or I hope you can see it. You're actually pointed a little too far up. There we go. So, well in the middle. I'm now going to add the milk and the oil. So I'll add the milk first, and you can just pour all of it in. Look, it's like a little lake. It's been a long day. And then you need 1/4 of a cup of oil. So then I'll pour that in there. Okay. Great, let me just put this in the sink. And now we can mix all of it up. And you want to mix it up so that everything is moistened. That is a technical term that I'm going to use right now. So yeah, just basically mix it up until there aren't any clumps. So I'll see you once I get that done. Okay, so after a lot of mixing and as you can see, getting my hands a little dirty, I finally have it all moistened. So what I would recommend doing is, well, before what I did was I just got these pans sort of all greased up. I did it with some butter. I was going to use this but decided not to. You just sort of melt the butter a little and then spread it around all in there so that they're all greased up. And then if you wanted to, you could save a little bit of that 2 cups of flour and put it off to the side. I have used more than 2 cups of water at this point, or 2 cups of flour, because I was putting some on my hands so that I could sort of get this going and it wasn't sticking completely to my hands. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the bread pans. I'm going to split it basically in half, and then put, half in one, half in the other. I don't know how well this is going to turn out because technically you're supposed to be able to pour this into the pans. So I may have added a little bit too much flour with that, but so it goes. It'll be okay. So I'm just going to put it in here, and then hopefully you can see this. I'm just going to sort of smush it into all the corners so that it's in there. It also will then get the grease sort of mixed around so that the bread does not stick to any part of it when we want to get it out later on. So there's one. That's pretty good. And then the second one, and you can see I'm sort of covered in flour at this point, but that's okay. It was fun doing this. And you can see it is definitely a little bit sticky. The only reason it wasn't on the outside from before was just because I had been moving it around in my hands a little, and my hands have been covered in flour. So again, do the same exact thing, just sort of mush this one in. And your oven at this point should definitely be heated up to 350. I don't know if I said that before. Your oven should be at 350. And we're then going to put these in there for an hour. So let me wash my hands real fast and then we'll stick them in there. Okay, so now we're going to stick it in the oven for about an hour. Hopefully it'll rise and actually become bread. If not, then we will have another failed recipe, except unlike the other one with the corn, this one will actually be a failure. But that's okay. We'll work through it, and then in the description I'll put any tips that I have for not failing. So there we go. We have our 2 pans in there at 350, and I'm going to set the timer for an hour, and I guess I'll see you in an hour. Okay, so it's been an hour now, and the brown bread is ready, and it smells really, really good. I'm not actually entirely sure if this was meant to be sort of a dessert type thing, but oh well, we're making it as a normal meal. I can't do that with one hand. So I'm going to put you down, and then I will get the brown bread out. It looks great. Let's see if it is fully done. The way I'm going to do that is just get a knife, and I guess sort of like cupcakes. Hopefully this works. Yeah, so there's no, I guess batter. Can I call it batter? Dough. That's the word. Why didn't I think of that? There's no dough on this, so I'm assuming that it's pretty good. And there's also, there's no eggs in it or anything, so it's not like it would kill you to eat it if it was a little bit raw. Yeah, so that's how we make our brown bread. So you can see in the background I'm actually setting up the boxty, which we're going to make right now. So now I'm going to be making the boxty. We finished the brown bread and now we're making the boxty. What this is going to take is 1 large onion. I used a Vidalia onion. Then about half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, and if you have it, 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. I unfortunately don't, and that'll be a shame because that is some nice flavor, but it wasn't in the budget, so I actually could not get it. About 2 to 4 tablespoons of butter. This is actually just to grease the pan. 2 eggs beaten, a potato that, if you have a grater, use the large holes on the grater and grate it. If not, I just use the peeler and just basically peel the entire potato right there. And then also 2 tablespoons of flour. So first thing that we have to do is you can use if you have it, use like a cheesecloth or something like it. I have a napkin. And what we're going to do is actually put all of the potato in the napkin, and then we're going to squeeze it, get all of the juice out. Put it in that bowl, and then we're going to get rid of the juice. So let's try this. Hopefully it works. You know, it would be better if I had a cheesecloth or something like that, because that, you know, that's sort of what it's made for. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Okay, I figured you didn't need to watch me struggle to squeeze this for that long. So I've basically squeezed all the liquid out that I can get out. There wasn't too much there. I think a lot of it actually just got soaked into the cloth. So now this liquid we can get rid of. And then I'm just going to put it on the counter. We're going to mix the potatoes in with the eggs, the onion, and the salt and pepper. Okay, so I decided to change to a bigger bowl because the small one wasn't really working. I've mixed in the onion, the salt and pepper, and here's also where you would also mix in the nutmeg if you have it. And then 2 tablespoons of flour. I'm now mixing that in now. You don't want any clumps of flour, so make sure that you really sort of get those out and mix it in very well. While this is going, you can actually go to the stove and heat up the 2 tablespoons worth of butter in a large pan. Since I'm actually done stirring this all up, I'll go over there and do it now. So let's head on over there. And there's the brown bread. I just wrapped it in some tin foil because it was a little bit hard, and so I decided, you know, I don't want it to be that hard. So if I put it in some tin foil, it'll hopefully keep some moisture in, and that way it will get a little softer. So there we go. There's our 2 tablespoons of butter. I'll heat this up then. So just mix the butter around, get sort of the whole pan coated, and then really all it's actually going to be sort of like making pancakes, just very small pancakes. You want to take about a tablespoon's worth of the material that's in there and make a spot on top of this. And of course you can add more butter as you go along, because you know these things will take some of the butter away once you take it out. But yeah, that's basically all you're gonna do. So I'll stop talking and I'll just do it now. Okay, so here I'll add the scoop about that big. Could be a little bit bigger, could be a little smaller. Doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal. And then you're gonna cook it for probably about 3 to 4 minutes. Oh, that was a big one. You don't need to get it too crowded. Make sure you do have some space on there. So don't do what I'm doing. And you'll cook it for about 3 to 4 minutes, and just sort of mush it out with the spatula. And that's all that needs to be done. So we're gonna make. Usually this recipe is for about 16. I'll probably wind up making about 10 to 12, just based on how big I'm making them. And of course you can turn the heat up a little bit just to sort of speed things along. And they should start to get a little bit crispy. That's what you want to happen. Yeah, I definitely. You know what? I'm just going to just smush them all together, and then I will break them up in a second. Now those onions that we cut up before, you're supposed to finely chop them. I put them in a blender because honestly I was kind of just lazy and didn't feel like chopping them. But probably should have chopped them, because you can tell now it's becoming sort of an issue since it was just a paste. And now that paste isn't really cooking. But, oh well, it's okay. Once they really start to crisp up, then you want to flip them. This is where the whole pancake part comes in. This isn't really going well for me, but it's okay. It's all trial and error, and I got a couple more left. And it keeps doing this. It keeps sticking to the bottom of it. That's really frustrating. Oh well. I think that's because of the onion paste. I'm gonna turn the fan on real fast. Okay, so this batch did not really turn out. It's not very beautiful, but it's okay. It's all cooked through now. It's pretty crispy. There we go. I'm gonna stick that on the plate, and then we'll try another batch. I won't put as much in this time. I'm only going to make 2 this time, and hopefully that'll turn out a little bit better. We shall see. Yeah, definitely try to chop up the onions instead of using a blender like I did, because it does make it kind of sticky, and then it sticks to the spatula, so you can't really press down on it, which is a problem. I'm going to turn it up a little just so that these start to crisp up on the bottom, and then hopefully I can flip them a little more easily than the other ones. Okay, so they're nice and crispy on the bottom. Let's see if I can flip it. That is a lot better than last time. Okay. Then let's try this one. This one's already broken on the one side, so... Hey, it worked! I'm quite proud of that. That was a lot of effort. You definitely have some sort of fan going, because the onions are still pretty strong. And I'll just crisp it up on the bottom here, and I'll add it to the pile. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put it to the side because I like these. There we go. Looks decent. This one the same. Look, it looks pretty good. Let's see if I can get this one a little bit crispier. It's kind of a miniature boxty. Is that I guess it's a noun. I don't really know what it is. So yeah, that's how you make it. I'll fry up the rest of it, but overall, there we go. That's how you make boxty. So here's our final product. Those are the 2 pieces of boxty that I had made earlier that look pretty nice. This is the brown bread here. It looks great. I might suggest using a little bit less flour on your hands. So maybe use some of that 2 cups that we were supposed to use and just rub it on your hands instead. Or keep it in the oven for a little bit less time. But it does have a nice outer crust to it. So this has been a fun Irish day. There is an Irish saying, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. I really don't think that applies here, but I know it's an Irish phrase, and therefore I wanted to say it. So, I hope you enjoy the Irish dinner, and I'll see you tomorrow. If you'd like to see the recipe, I have the entire recipe down in the bottom in the description, along with the ingredients and everything that you have to do to prepare it. Also, follow my Instagram at college_eats101. I have pictures of all the food and what each of the meals actually is. So, thanks again for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.